Photosynthesis by Tyler Chang and Enzo Hume. How do plants and animals get energy? Well, us humans and animals get energy by eating food. So food equals energy, or ATP. But plants, they don't eat food. They make their food from a process called photosynthesis. This is when a plant takes in CO2, or carbon dioxide, water powered by sunlight to get glucose and oxygen.
But that's not all there is to photosynthesis. To really understand it, we need to zoom in even more until you could see the plant cells. Inside the plant cells, we need to see a part called the mitochondria. Now, if we take a closer look at the mitochondria, we can see the thylakoid and the stroma. Inside the thylakoid membrane, we can see the first phase of photosynthesis called ETC, or electron transport chain. In the ETC, two enzymes called photosystem 1 and 2 have special pigments that absorb light energy, which is sent to the reaction center to power electrons.
From here, the charged electrons are transported through the phagocytin to a transport protein, which then transport the electrons to a cytochrome complex. To replace the electrons that were transferred into the ETC, a water molecule is split into two electrons, 1/2 oxygen and 3 hydrogen ions. The two electrons are then transferred back into the photosystem 2. This process is called photolysis.
Once inside the cytochrome complex, the electrons are moved to a transport protein and then to a photosystem 1.
In photosystem 1, notice how the electrons are now still. This is because as the electrons are moving through the ETC, they were losing energy. But we'll get back to that later. First of all, the electrons are re-energized in the activation center and then moved to the FES, and then to a transport protein called the ferredoxin protein, and then to an NADP reductase, where it takes 2 hydrogen protons, NADP, and combines them with the electrons to make NADPH. Now, going back to that energy, this energy is used to pump hydrogen atoms through the ATP synthase. This makes a proton gradient. And then an inorganic phosphate and an ADP molecule are combined in the ATP synthase to make an ATP molecule, which is used with the NADPH in the Calvin cycle later.
First, carbon dioxide enters and binds with an RUBP molecule and is catalyzed together by an enzyme called rubisco. It would then form an unstable 6-carbon molecule that would break into 2 3-carbon molecules, also known as 3-PGA.
After 2 more cycles of this, we save up 6 3-PGAs, where 6 ATP then give them energy to get 6 BPG. NADPH then give these BPGs electrons to turn it into 6 G3Ps. One molecule of these is set to the side while the other goes through regeneration, thus concluding reduction. Using additional ATP, the 5 G3P molecules are rearranged to make 3 RUBP molecules. These RUBP molecules can then be put back into the Calvin cycle to restart the entire thing, thus concluding the regeneration phase. After 3 more cycles of this process, 2 G3P molecules are set to the side, which are then combined to make 1 glucose molecule. How does this relate to homeostasis? Well, photosynthesis makes food, which is then processed into energy, and that energy is needed for growth, repair, and basically every other life process.